Now, a group of respected British children's authors and illustrators, including Philip Pullman and Quentin Blake, will stop visiting schools from the start of the next academic year in protest at a new government scheme that requires them to register on a database in case they pose a danger to kids. Now, from October the 12th this year, the vetting and barring scheme will require that all individuals who work with children will have to be on this register. According to Philip Pullman, it reinforces the culture of suspicion, fear and mistrust that underlies a great deal of present-day society. But do we think that everyone who has access to children should be on some sort of register?
No, absolutely not. I don't think so. I think that, in certain professions, if people are going to work in, childcare or anything like that, then of course they need to be checked to see if they've ever done anything in the past, of course. But you're not going to know if they haven't anyway, and there is always a risk, whatever you say. But, to just take a bunch of innocent people, anyone who's ever going to go near children, that goes for all adults. To me it just says everybody is guilty of being a potential paedophile, and it's just gone beyond a joke. You read stories about these things all the time, with parents not allowed to take pictures of their kids, blah, blah. Everybody's seen these suspicions. People are getting way too suspicious, and it's not fair. It's not fair on parents, it's not fair on adults, full stop, especially men, and it's not fair on the children, and it makes my blood boil. I don't blame them for boycotting it. I don't blame them at all, because it's not necessary.
The thing is, it's, I can see both sides. I'm a mother, I'm very protective of my child. What's the alternative? We ignore it. The fact, if you can think of it this way, if you've got nothing to hide, why should you be bothered or care about if somebody's doing a check? If I knew I had nothing to hide, I'd say, okay, that's, let's do it, because I would rather not have anybody that's a bit dodgy or whatever they've done coming into my son's school.
How does being on, yes, exactly, how does being on the register help anyone when you haven't done anything? What is it going to prove?
Before you prove
Which is
anything.
exactly, I think, why, as Carol said, that's why, these people are boycotting it, because there's almost a guilt by association, I think. And I
just because you're with a child,
and there's absolutely, of course, no suggestion whatsoever that, the people we've named just now that are boycotting this are doing it for a reason that they've got anything to hide. But I must admit, I feel quite uncomfortable with it, even though I've got a 7-year-old at school, I've got a 2-year-old who's about to go to nursery, but I think there does come a point where you have to trust. You have to hand your children over and trust that the teachers that are there are going to make sure that they're safe and looked after, any kids clubs that they go to.
When it goes wrong, Andrea, when it goes wrong, everybody comes down and says, why wasn't something done? Why wasn't something? So what do? You have to, it's got to be one rule for everybody.
But
as soon as it goes wrong, everybody goes mad about it. Why weren't they checked? Why weren't they checked? So now we're checking them and everybody still can't win.
No, but they've gone that step too far, as usual. It broke my father's heart, who was with my daughter till she was 8 years old, and one day he was at school and was taking a photograph of her, and they stopped him, and he felt like a criminal.
That's ridiculous.
And the next thing was, she did a nativity play that we were stopped from filming. You can't film nativity plays. There was a man who went into school the other day to take a picture of his daughter doing a play, and they went, absolutely not. Why? Because another child just might be in the photograph. So he said, so now I have no record of my own child in a play at that age. That is ridiculous.
It's not just a photograph.
Too far.
Parents have been banned from their kids' sports days. They can't go in case parents are like a danger to other kids. I mean, it is out of control. You can't prevent.
No, I'm agreeing with that. Nothing will stop me taking a picture of Jake doing something at school. Nothing. Whatever anyone said.
You're not allowed to take pictures.
It depends on the school, and it very much depends on the headmistress or the head teacher in charge. Some of them are a little bit more
lenient. It does happen in nurseries. It does happen. So what do we do? I get very confused. You just think, do you ignore it, and then something happens, and you think, why wasn't something done? Or
I just think
it's so difficult, isn't it?
Statistically, I don't think there are any more paedophiles around now than there were when I was growing up. I think we just hear about it more, and I think you just have to, but for the grace of God, you have to trust.
And I think the only way you can prevent anything from ever happening again is basically to lock all the children up. Just lock them up, and then they don't have any access to any. No, I know it's ridiculous. But
you're right.
That is the only way you're going to stop it from ever happening again.
I can just
register.
I can imagine
lock
you
all the
doing
grown-ups grown-ups
that.
are.
I can, you know, with the greasy black hair and the cage and the lollipops.
Locking all the kids
Hello,
out.
children.
Oh, that's why you think I've got some underlying agenda.
No, I think you're like a child catcher.
Hard argument, isn't it? Especially for mothers as well.
Yeah, it is. It's difficult. It is.